Isang mapagpalang umaga po sa bawat isa. Kami po ang reporters for today. Sa mga naunang lesson na ni-report, marami tayong natutunan. Tayo po ay pinakilig at nakarelate sa usapang love. Nasapatan ang ating kaalaman patungkol sa sex o gender. At naging bukas ang ating isipan sa kahalagahan ng ating katawan. Subalit ngayon, dadako po tayo sa isang sensitibo at seryosong usapan hinggil sa isyu ng ating lipunan. According to Bible, Colossians 3:19, "Husbands, love your wives and do not be harsh with them." Sa batas po ng tao at sa batas ng Diyos, sinasabi na marapat lamang na mahalin at ingatan ng asawang lalaki ang kaniyang kabiyak. Walang sinabi na saktan mo ang iyong asawa, sapagkat kayo ay iisa na, laman at buhay. Subalit, nakakalungkot isipin ang katotohanang may ilang kaso ng pananakit, pagmamaltrato at pang-aabuso sa mga kababaihan.
Lesson 18, Violence Against Women and Their Children Act, or Republic Act number 9262. The lesson objectives. This module discusses the important provision of the Violence Against Women and Their Children, VAWC Act, or RA 9262. It also discusses crucial cases involving the said law. VAWC or Republic Act 9262. Anti-VAWC is the result of the strong advocacies on women's human rights in the country. Kung sa Tagalog, ito ay masasamang ginagawa tulad ng pag-aabuso laban sa mga babae at sa mga bata. This law deemed to be significant victory for all Filipino women, as it was based on the right of women not to suffer abuse, discrimination, and violence in their respective relationships. Tandaan po natin na ang VAWC or RA 9262 dapat may involved na relationship. For example, mag-asawa, live-in partner at may anak. Kahit magkaroon lang ng pagtatalik, pwede na po siyang sakop sa RA 9262. Dito rin po ang pwede lang kasuhan ay mga lalaki. So, paano sa same-sex marriage? Ito ba ay pasok sa RA 9262? If ever man na magkaroon ng pag-aabuso. So, ang same-sex marriage, big sabihin lalaki sa lalaki at parehas na babae ang kasal or in a relationship. Same-sex couple. So, kasi sinasabi po dito na violence against women and their children. So, sa madaling sabi po, same-sex couple, parehas lalaki, walang involved na women. At doon naman sa same-sex couple na babae, oo, meron women pero walang akusado na lalaki. So, hindi po ito pwede. Kumbaga, sa RA 9262, babae at lalaki tsaka mga anak nila, hindi pareho ang kasarian. Definition of terms. Protection orders means orders issued by the barangay or the courts distancing the perpetrator from the victim and vice versa for reason provided by the law. So, ito ang ibinibigay or ini-issue ng korte habang nililitis ang kaso. Pagbabawalan ang lalaki na lumapit sa anak o asawa. Pag sinabi pong barangay protection order, from the word itself, hindi ito hinihingi sa korte kundi sa barangay. Ito ay temporary that last 15 days upang bigyan protection order ang babae at anak mula sa mapang-abusong ama. Dito kahit hindi mangailangan ng abogado. While protection orders from the courts, meron siyang dalawang klase. Yung temporary protection order to permanent protection order. Pag sinabing temporary, it lasts 30 days mula ng time na in-issue ito. Halimbawa, June 1, may expired siya ng June 30. Pero ang kagandahan nito, pwede siyang i-renew. So, renew before to expire kasi may ilang lalaki po na talagang violente sa asawa na kapag wala na ang protection order, susugod siya para saktan yung kanyang asawa at anak. After proving that husband is indeed harassed or abusing her wife and child, then temporary protection order were eventually moved to permanent protection order. So, pag sinabing permanent protection order, wala na siyang expiration. Dito, ibinibigay ng korte o judge after the case. Kapag mag-file ng RA 9262, may dalawang klase po yan. Una, civil case. Dito wala pong kulong. Ang advantage nito, pwedeng humingi ng protection order. Usually po, this happen kung ang nais ng victim is financial support from the father of her child. Dito rin, kung nakakulong ang lalaki, walang maibibigay na sustento sa anak. So, kumbaga, hindi ipapakulong ng babae ang kaniyang asawang lalaki basta masuportahan lang financially ang kanilang anak. Second, kapag magfa-file ng RA 9262, criminal case. Dito, kailangan ng prosecutor or abogado tapos ang korte ang mag-i-issue ng protection order. Meron ditong kulong. Kung gusto ng victim na magtanda or other term, pagbayaran ng lalaki ang pag-aabuso sa kaniya at maging sa anak. Public crime, nature of a crime wherein it is considered to be an affront to the society, allowing anyone who has personal knowledge to file a case for VAWC. Important features of the law. 4 kinds of violence against women and their children are defined. These efforts compasses the all types of abuses inflicted to women and their children. First, physical abuse, acts that included physical harm against the victim. Ito ang pagsuntok, pagsampal, pagsipa, pagsabunot sa babaeng asawa o sa kanilang anak. Second is sexual abuse, sexual behavior or asexual acts formed upon a woman or child without their consent. For example, rape, sexual harassment, forcing her to have sex, treating a woman or child as sex object. Third, psychological abuse. This is the acts or omissions causing mental or emotional suffering to the victim. Ito ang pananakit ng damdamin. Nakikiapid ang lalaki or madaming kabit. Sinasabihan ng di magagandang salita tulad ng ang pangit mo. Opo, emotional abuse ito kasi bilang asawa, you need to give your wife the confidence, hindi ang pangungutya. Consider din po sa emotional abuse yung pagsabi sa anak ng masasamang salita o pagmumura. Then fourth, economic abuse. This is the irregular, insufficient, or no support or deprivation of financial resources. Ito ang hindi pagbibigay ng suporta sa anak o asawa. Pwedeng financially at di magampanan ang tungkulin sa anak maging sa kaniyang asawang babae. VAWC is a public crime. The crime is perpetrated not only against a single individual but against the entire society, thus anyone who has personal knowledge of the abuse, violence, or discrimination can file a complaint. Protection orders can be issued against the perpetrator. Upon filing the case, the victim, survivor, or anyone who has personal knowledge can apply for a protection order to enforce distance between her and the perpetrator. Stronger community mechanism to respond to cases. Various government agencies are mandated to aptly respond or formulate mechanism to respond to reported cases of VAWC immediately.
Protection order. A protection order under the anti-VAWC law is defined as an order issued for the purpose of preventing further acts of violence against a woman and her child, her specified in section of this act, and granting other necessary relief. The relief granted under a protection order should serve the purpose of safeguarding the victim, minimizing any disruption of the victim's daily life, and facilitating the opportunity and ability of the victim to independently gain and control of her life. The illicitness of a relationship a woman engaged in does not diminish her dignity in any way. She will be protected just the same by the law that values her and her children's dignity and guarantees full respect for the human rights. What is Republic Act 9262 all about? An act defining violence against women and their children, providing for protective measures for victims, prescribing penalties therefore, and for other purposes. Section 1, short title. This act should be known as the Anti-Violence Against Women and Their Good Children Act of 2004. The law enumerates the following reliefs that may be availed of a true and protection order. First is prohibition of the respondent or perpetrator from the threatening to commit or committing personally or through another any of the acts penalized by the anti-VAWC law. Ibig sabihin is, yung suspect daw bawal gumawa ng panibagong kaso, like, kunwari niya may kaso pa siyang kinakaharap, then na rape. Tapos, habang nasa kaso pa yung kaso niya, bawal siyang gumawa ng panibagong kaso ayon sa VAWC law. Second is prohibition of the respondent from harassing, annoying, telephoning, contacting, or otherwise communicating with the petitioner or victim survivor directly or indirectly. Ibig sabihin, yung suspect daw is bawal makipag-ugnayan sa biktima, like anya makipag-usap, makipagkwentuhan, or makikuntsaba. Number 3 is removal and exclusion of the respondent from the residence of petitioner, whether temporarily or permanently. Dito sa part na to is aalasin yung suspect sa lugar niya at ililipat siya sa rehabilitation upang masiguro na wala siyang ugnayan sa biktima at maging magkagulo-gulo ang kaso. 4. Directing the respondent to stay away from the petitioner in any designated family or household member at a distance specified by the court. Number 5, directing the lawful possession and use by the petitioner of an automobile and other personal effects regardless and ownership. 6, granting temporary or permanent custody of a child or children to the petitioner. 7, directing the respondent to provide support to the woman and or her child if it entitled to legal support. In summary of all, sa law na yun is nakapaloob yung pagbabawal sa perpetrator or lalaking asawa na lumapit sa kanyang inabusong asawa at anak. More on, hindi pwede lumapit sa asawa at anak kapag binigyan na ng protection order galing sa korte na kung baga is gusto din na mailayo nung nanay yung anak niya doon sa umabusong ama. Number 8, prohibition of the respondent from any use or possession of any firearm or deadly weapon in order to surrender the same, including revocation of license and disqualification to apply for any license to use or possess a firearm. Number 9, restitution for actual damages caused by violence inflicted, including property damage, medical expense, and loss of income. Number 10, directing the Department of Social Welfare and Development or the DSWD or any appropriate agency to provide the temporary shelter and other social services that the petitioner may need. And 11 is the provision of other forms of relief as may be necessary to protect and provide for the safety of the petitioner. Dito sa case na to is nakapaloob yung pinagbabawal na yung respondent ay gumamit ng mga weapons at hindi isurrender sa korte. Pwede rin na siya ay pagbayarin ng mga actual damages, mga medical expense at mawalan siya ng trabaho. Sa Directing of Social Welfare and Development or sabi ng DSWD, siya ay mag-provide ng temporary shelter at ibang social services na kailangan ng petitioner. Binibigyan din siya ng mga protection order na kung saan papanatili ang kaligtasan ng petitioner dun sa suspect. Rights of a victim, survivor of VAWC cases. Republic Act 9262 specified the following as right of the victim survivor. Section 35, right of victims in addition to the rights under existing law. Victims of violence against women and their children shall have the following rights. To be treated with respect and dignity. Second is to avail of legal assistance from the Public Attorney's Office and the Department of Justice or any public legal assistance office. And lastly is to be entitled to support services from the SWD and the LGUs or local government units. Yung batas may mga batas yung biktima na kung saan tinutulungan sila at iginagalang, nirerespeto ng ibang tao. And also, yung Public Attorney Office is nag-a-avail sila ng legal assistance na kung saan magbibigay sila ng tulong doon sa biktima at kailangan din na bigyan sila ng tulong from the SWD or any local government units para maka-move on or malampasin nila yung pagsubok sa buhay na kung saan is inabuso nung ama yung kanyang asawa at anak. To be entitled to all legal remedies and support as provided for under the Family Code and to be informed of other right to apply for a protection order. Yung biktima rin is pwedeng mag-apply or mag-provide ng family code para sa kanilang kaligtasan at pwede rin silang mag-apply ng protection order from the court para hindi na sila guluhin ng kanilang nag-abuso sa kanila na asawa. The right privacy of the victim is also provided in the law and its violation is punishable by imprisonment and fine.
Duties of the national and local government offices. The RA 9262 Section 39 provides for the creation of the Interagency Council on Violence Against Women and their Children, which shall formulate gender-sensitive programs and projects according to their respective agency mandates, including the capability building programs for their employees. The IAC VAWC consists of the following agencies. It is the DSWD, National Commission on the Role of Filipino Women, Civil Service Commission, Commission on Human Rights, Council for the Welfare of Children, Department of Justice, Department of Interior and Local Government, Philippine National Police, Department of Health, Department of Education, DOLE, and National Bureau of Investigation. These agencies are tasked to formulate programs and projects based to the needs of their clients. The Section 47 duties and functions of barangay officials in order to eliminate violence against women and their children. The barangay official shall formulate and take the following. 1 is undertake an educational program on Republic Act 9262 and on violence against women and their children and why it exists. It is the rights and remedies of victims, survivors, and the duties of residents and all barangay officials. The example in this educational program that talk about is the seminar that supports survivors and promote gender identities and sexualities. It is very important to avoid harassment or sexual harassment in the barangay. Next is the have a family violence prevention program, including the peer counseling for men. Next is support organizing efforts and development programs for women in the community. The next one is prioritize livelihood projects for victim survivors. The example in this is sustainable agriculture, food aid to orphans and elderly people, like health and hygiene trainings or free checkups. Involve women in planning and implementation of all programs and projects in the barangay. Have an anti-violence against women and children desk officer in the barangay who shall have coordination to their community program and the one-step help desk that shall be open for 24 hours. Ensure that all barangay officials or barangay health workers, barangay health scholars, other barangay workers, and tanods undergo gender sensitivity seminars to enable them to respond to victims or violence. It is very important for them to undergo this kind of seminar because it is acknowledged them to be aware for what is happening to their society or to their community. What can they do if in case there is an emergency that happened in their barangay. There are a lot of sexual harassment that happened today, and because of that they need to be knowledgeable and have learnings for what they can land or what they can do in case that it can happen to their own barangay. The next one is develop a system to document and report cases of violence against women and their children and assistance program to victims. If applicable or necessary, prescribe additional guidelines and standards provided that these are consistent with the Act. Like for instance, there is a cases or rape happened in the barangay, it should be reported immediately so that the barangay officials can document it to provide them the financial assistance and the basic needs for the victim survivors. In Section 39, it all stated about the agencies where people can contact or ask for help if in case that there is an emergency happened to their barangay. While in Section 47 of RA 9262 refers to the duties, functions, and responsibility of all the barangay officials. Example is when someone approach them telling them that they are being abused by their partner, they should be able to document and report it immediately to the high level of agencies so that it can help the victim survivor in financial support, financial assistance that can help them bring back what is being left by them. Violence Against Women and Their Children Act is a legislation championing the cause of women. This specific law pertains to the specific violations captured as 4 acts of violence defined in the law. Also, the violence against women and their children was considered to be the public crime, allowing other persons to file the complaint, not only the victim survivor. Further, the law allows protection orders distancing the perpetrator from the victim and vice versa for several purposes as provided for therein. Importantly, government units are mandated to provide specific and immediate mechanisms to respondent appropriately to these VAWC cases.
Thank you for listening. God bless. Have a nice day, everyone.